All right, very good. It is now 1:40 p.m. Are we recording? Yeah. Okay. It is 1:40 p.m. Today is February 23rd, 2024. This is a special meeting of the Anchorage Assembly. I now call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, will you please say the roll?
Member Myers?
He is excused.
Member Martinez?
Present.
Member Rivera?
Present.
Member Bronga? Here. Member Johnson?
Here.
Chair Constant?
Here.
Vice Chair Zalato? Here. Member Cross?
Here.
Member Volland?
Happy to be here.
Member Brawley? Here. Member Stolt?
I have not heard from him.
Member Presvedia?
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. On the agenda, we have just a couple of items before we get to that. Mr. Cross, would you please lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Alto, would you please read the land acknowledgement?
Yes.
Thank you.
The land acknowledgement is a formal statement recognizing the indigenous people of the place. It is a public gesture of appreciation for the past and present indigenous stewardship of the lands we now occupy. It is an actionable statement that marks our collective movement towards decolonization and equity. The Anchorage Assembly would like to acknowledge that we gather today on the traditional lands of the Dena'ina Athabascans. For thousands of years, the Dena'ina have been and continue to be the stewards of this land. It is with gratefulness and respect that we recognize the contributions, innovations, and contemporary perspectives of the Upper Cook Inlet Dena'ina.
Thank you. So on the agenda today, we have three items. We'll start with item 4A, which is AO 2024-25, an ordinance of the Anchorage Municipal Assembly amending Anchorage Municipal Code Chapter 2.60 to update provisions for the Office of the Ombudsman to provide clear language, investigate complaints within the Ombudsman's jurisdiction as articulated in the charter. What's the local body?
Move to introduce.
Second.
Is there a third?
Third.
Thank you. So we have a motion to introduce by Ms. Zalatel, seconded by Mr. Bond, third by Mr. Rivera. That item is set for public hearing at the regular meeting, March the 5th, 2024. Next, we have one second. Thank you. Thank you. So next we have item 5A. 5A is AR 2024-75, a resolution of the Anchorage Municipal Assembly authorizing the Assembly Council to pursue litigation and any other appropriate method of dispute resolution in the matter of the Kootenai Hydroelectric Project's proposed fish and wildlife program. What's the will of the body?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Zalatel, seconded by Mr. Perez-Verdia. So now we have before us this item. So next on the agenda, we also have item 6A, which is potential executive session regarding legal matters and possible litigation regarding the Kootenai Hydroelectric Project proposed fish and wildlife program and related action. So I'm going to turn to Assembly Council and let you know that an executive session has been requested. Could you please lay the foundation that supports a potential motion to move into executive session?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pursuant to Anchorage Municipal Code 230036 Alpha, the Assembly may recess to meet in executive session to discuss a specific legal matter, including pending litigation. All information shared and gleaned in this session will be confidential. No official action may be taken in executive session except to give to an attorney or labor negotiator regarding a specific legal matter, guidance regarding a specific legal matter or pending labor negotiation. The session will be recorded. Records will be available to all members of the body and authorized staff only, and may be discussed only in further executive session. These records will become public at a date specified by the Assembly at the conclusion of the executive session. In accordance with the code, any discussion which occurs at this executive session should only be discussed by this body in future executive session. Any member who needs to leave during this session may leave, but only may be updated on discussions after his or her departure in a subsequent executive session or via review of the recordings of this session. Special invitees, employees, and staff members that the body determines are necessary to the conversation may remain in the meeting during executive session. The next code states that no public servant shall disclose or release confidential or non-public information gained through the person's municipal position unless authorized by law or order of the court. Any violation would be referred to the Board of Ethics. The code also provides that the board may make recommendations for corrective action. Past recommended corrective actions have included financial penalties and other professional consequences. Additionally, the municipality may pursue civil action against an official where the release of confidential information adversely affects the outcome of litigation or negotiations or leads to increased financial liability. Such disclosure would also subject a member of this body to a recall election pursuant to state statute. Grounds for a recall election include misconduct in office, incompetence, or failure to perform prescribed duties. A violation of confidential obligations to the municipality would meet this criteria. The code does not specifically provide for collection or destruction of notes taken at this section, but it has been past municipal practice to assure the confidentiality of these discussions in executive sessions. If you'd like me to, I'm happy to collect and destroy your notes today. If you elect to take notes and retain them, I will remind you that these notes will be confidential, and the failure to properly preserve their confidentiality could implicate the same consequences I have set out in this instructions. The chair today seeks to meet with the Assembly in executive session to discuss the Eklutna Hydro project and to discuss the potential proposed litigation or the seeking of other dispute resolution in that matter. I will now seek a motion from the body to move into executive session, Mr. Chair.
For a motion, Ms. Salazar.
Thank you, Mr. Hurd. I actually have a question for the municipal attorney prior to making a motion, if I may, Mr. Chair. Thank you. The proposed executive session is in regard to the resolution that we is item 5A. Referenced in that resolution is the binding term sheet that was subject to a prior executive session. Is it still the position of the municipal attorney's office that the binding term sheet has to remain confidential?
I have not had much opportunity. I haven't read this resolution. I just got it now. It was not produced earlier than right now at this meeting. But to answer your question, our position hasn't changed. The term sheet is confidential. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we move into executive session that includes Assembly members, Legislative Council, and any council for the Assembly, but does not include the municipal attorney.
Second.
There's a motion made by Ms. Zalatel to enter executive session with some limitations, and seconded by Mr. Perez-Valdea. Any discussion? Ms. Braga.
I guess I just need a point of clarity. I was not able to attend the executive session last time. Will this get me up to speed, or is it maybe possible that I shouldn't be involved since I don't have that prior knowledge?
So I will say that when we're in executive session, we are free to discuss items at the previous executive session, so there will be an opportunity to bring you up to speed on matters, and I think that the conversation should be enlightened. So is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, members may proceed to vote on the motion.
Member Perez-Valdea?
Yes.
Member Brawley?
Yes.
Member Holland?
Yes.
Member Cross?
Yes.
Member Zalatel?
Yes.
Member Constant?
Yes.
Member Johnson?
Yes.
Member Braga?
Yes.
Member Rivera?
Yes.
Member Martinez?
Yes.
The vote passes 10-0.
So on a vote of 10-0, the Assembly will now recess into executive session. We will invite outside counsel, we will invite Assembly counsel to stay. and the interpreters.
Okay. One-on-one, I can share it with you and just tell my question.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Any questions that you have, so I'm welcome.
Thank you. I should have approached
I was trying to be set up for one after the one that passed one. It's a living recording, so I can't be good.
And it's really low key, but it's really nice.
It's a lot to
You should do it.
No, I was not.
Oh, you should come in and do our culture show. I think I told you about that at once.
The reality is that you're taking a position opposition to the conversation we're about to have in relationship to legal strategy.
Absolutely.
And so for that reason, it's not appropriate to have.
We gotta make sure our record remains clear.
So I'm just so,
Can you turn your
I'm
microphone
so
on?
troubled. I'm very troubled by this because I got notice of this meeting for everybody's benefit while we were at the funeral, celebrating the life of a colleague. I have not taken any position on anything other than the fact that we have a document that was signed. I had nothing to do with that, but it is what it is. And I cannot jeopardize the city's position to authorize that something that's confidential according to a document be produced to the public.
We
So the
absolutely
position is
understand
that-
your position, and the assembly is convening to have a discussion about potential litigation on the question of whether that record is producible.
or moderator
And so, because
followed
you
by
have
the
been
pound key.
forced by virtue of your staff and by virtue of the various other processes that have brought us here, signatures by members of this administration, that we believe are in violation of our authority, we have to ask you to leave because we need to have a legal strategy that's defensible in court.
Well, I do want to advise you something.
Please.
Okay.
We're not in executive session, we're still.
I understand. So, in the brief time that I had to prepare for this meeting, I want you to consider that under charter, the Assembly Council, as great as they are, their function is limited to legislative function. The reason for that is because we are a unified city. Our department, the Department of Law, represents the Assembly. And any actions or anything that you need, our department provides that. I don't know where this has come from.
Okay, Ms. Elser, I'll interrupt and say this.
No, there
Sitting
are
on this
two-
corner of the table, when the Hickle conversation happened, what ended up happening is members of the administration took executive action and sacrificed the legislative authority of this body, and we had to eat the sandwich of, if you don't do what we say, you're going to be sued. And that was on advice of the municipal attorney. And now we have an agreement that was signed that's binding on the municipality.
No.
Yes, and there's a difference of facts. And you have asserted that that is not our purview to be able to even discuss in open session, which is where all of our business happens. Therefore, we cannot entertain a conversation with you. This is squarely a legislative function.
Might I respond?
Yes.
Okay. So, I feel that you're holding this meeting and you are operating in defiance of the rest of the city. Because what you are trying to do is you, in both of these, suggested one ordinance that was produced, I found out about yesterday, and this AR, you're empowering one branch of government to challenge another branch, and that isn't the spirit of the government that we have. And what you're saying is not, what you're saying is only partially correct, Mr. Constant, respectfully.
And we have a
It's-
difference of
it's-
facts.
it's-
I
no,
get that.
you are mischaracterizing what this position is. You really are. And so I would welcome any questions.
Mr. Long.
Thank you. So I think I will just say that there's a frustration I can't speak for all my colleagues, but I will say that I
You know what,
sense.
I actually,
Can I
stop this? Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite the reporters back in because this whole discussion is on the record and should be public.
Okay.
I'll stand by.
That's the problem, secret government.
Well, what this is, with a resolution, less than 20 or just about.
Can you
barely
please,
24
the chair
hours.
has paused the meeting for a second. Could you please just hold on? Thank you.
It'll be just a couple minutes before the cameras are back to make sure that this public conversation is recorded for the public. Who do we have on the phone?
George Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Are you still online?
Anna Brawley, I'm on until.
Yep, thank you. Mr. Johnson?
He should be there. Ask him again.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Rivera?
He's here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, are you there?
There's a 2060753 number. Yes, I sent an email. I just sent it. I'm trying to get all this stuff redone.
Mr. Vaughn, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I wanted to respond to the municipal attorney's assertion that we're acting somehow in defiance of the rest of the city, because I think that is the frustration that I sense, that I feel right myself personally, but also the frustration that I sense on behalf of some of my colleagues, is that we are the policymaking branch, but we haven't had a seat at the table. We haven't been driving the policy of these negotiations. And even on this, response letter, the signature is Colby Hickle. So who is making these calls on behalf of the municipality? And so I think that is why that there is a motivation today to have a separate conversation with our council and with outside council. And I don't think it's a personal thing. I think it's just that we need to come up with a strategy for the legislative body to be able to assert itself in these conversations and to be able to drive on behalf of the municipality the decisions. And respectfully, you have a very difficult role because you have to advise both branches, right? Well, we've seen in the media Mayor Bronson take a separate stance than the legislative body, in the history of our resolutions. And so we are at odds. And I don't know that you can necessarily be in this situation, I guess, able to, you could advise, but you have two different branches that have an opposite stance. And so I think it's time for the Assembly to circle the wagons and say, okay, what are we going to do? What are our next steps? So that's why I am comfortable moving into executive session, just with counsel and outside counsel to be able to have that conversation.
And I'll just note, the vote has been taken, and so I don't know in what universe we're having this conversation, except we have to make it public. Other members wish to discuss. Ms. Zalatal.
Thank you. So just so that the record's clear, the question I asked was specific to know if the municipal attorney's position was potentially contrary or different than what's going to be discussed or could be discussed in executive session, and then the limiting of the motion made for purposes of moving into executive session. I think that in particular, it's important to note that this isn't unprecedented where the two branches of government differ into or potentially differ into whether or not a particular document should be public or not. And that's really the crux, I think, of asking or about whether or not at this point the municipal attorney should participate in the executive session. So it is quite limiting, and I appreciate that that is one issue amongst a myriad of issues. However, since there is a position by the municipal attorney, I think that that's where we're at. As the chair said, the motion's been made, the motion's been passed. At this point, I think the only remedy if someone is not happy with that is to ask for reconsideration.
Which was my plan. Does anyone wish to reconsider their vote? Make a motion to reconsider. Anyone at all? Hearing seeing none, there is no motion to reconsider. We will now convene into executive session. Your objections are noted on the record.
Sorry, Chair, whose objections?
Yours, the municipal attorney's objections to us going into executive session to discuss the resolution that's now before us are noted for the record.
I have no objection to you moving into executive session. My only request was that you consider that the municipal attorney's office, which is the Department of Law, which is charged with assisting municipal governments according to charter in all legal matters, that to leave out the municipal attorney or a representative of the municipal attorney's office is my objection.
Okay, and I will note that we just completed a legal proceeding over a document in which our counsel had to oppose the assembly, the municipal attorney, and that's how it happened. And I guess memories are short, but that just was resolved like a week ago. And so there is precedent, and at this time, we will confer with the municipal attorney's office when the discussion among the members is no longer in executive session. And when we come back out into our main proceedings, because we will not take any official action until we're in our open forum, and you will be welcome to participate at that time. We need our advice.
For the record, 4.06 of our charter, defining the role of Assembly Council, Legislative Council is an extension of the municipal attorney's office, not a replacement for it.
Awesome. So you just put into the record that the charter asserts that by virtue of the fact that the Assembly Council is in the room, the municipal attorney is represented. This discussion is concluded. Thank you. We will now proceed to executive session.
Unnecessary, Chris. Unnecessary.
Can you confirm that Johnson's on the phone?
Mr. Johnson, are you on the phone?
Yes, I'm here.
Let's wait till we get your record going.
Can I get the, after we do the roll call, can I get the TV turned on?
Say more again.
Like the bar in the truck.
Oh.
It's supposed to be safe, but it's -1. I don't think it's still should go after 0.
I can't ski under 0 and 4 here. It's just not fun.
That's some brakes, you have to fix it.
Yeah. It was -20 both days.
Okay, so on the phone, do we still have Mr. Johnson, Mr. Martinez, Ms. Brawley, and Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, do you want to do the request?
What we have to do first is a roll call. That is the pre-executive session roll call. Then we have to do a second roll call within the executive session.
So we're still on the same recording as the live meeting, so now who is left in the room?
Exactly. So what we'll do now, before we proceed into the executive session, is identify everybody who's in the room for the record. This provides a public record of who's in the room because that's not privileged and confidential. And so we'll start with Assembly Council.
Dean Gates, Assembly Council.
Matthew Gray, Legislative Council.
Daniel Wong.
Karen Bonga.
Kevin Cross.
Cameron Perez, Virginia.
Christopher Constant. On the phone, we have Mr. Martinez,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Rivera, Ms. Brawley.
Here.
We also have interpreters
Gina Ashman and Brenda Poglite.
from the clerk's office,
Jamie Heights.
and then from outside counsel.
Leslie Mead.
Hit it again, hold it, let it go. There you go.
Thank you. Leslie Mead, Lenny Bennett Blumstein, outside counsel.
And Andy Erickson, Andy Bennett Blumstein.
Okay, so now we will proceed into executive